Good to go? Okay, no gavel. I'll call the April 10th Montrose Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. Roll call.
Roger Froman.
Sean Coe.
Chuck Smallwood.
Sam Solars.
Steve Grittman.
Jessica Bonniwell.
Okay, if you'd all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you. Look for an approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the previous meeting's agenda,
Oh, it's this one.
or this meeting's agenda, yes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from the February 14th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Approval.
I move to approve the previous meeting agenda, or minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, and now I'd look for a motion to close the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting and open a public hearing.
Okay. Move to close the public meeting, open the, the planning meeting, to open the public meeting for the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll close the Planning and Zoning meeting at 7:02 and open the public hearing and turn it over to Mr. Grittman, our
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission.
city planner.
The item before you is a request to amend your zoning ordinance. This is a aspect of your zoning ordinance, which is the floodplain management ordinance. It's an overlay district that applies wherever FEMA has designated floodplain areas in the city. A number, I see that in my report, now that I'm reading it for the third time, I finally saw that I've got a word Monticello in there, so I apologize for that. This should say Montrose on my first page. FEMA initially began updating Wright County's floodplain maps in 2011 and was poised to adopt those in about 2016, but there were a couple of communities, a township and a city in Wright County that were challenging the maps. There were public hearings held at that time. Property owners were notified as to what was changed from the original 79 maps. I shouldn't say original, but the prior maps that had been adopted. And then it's taken until now to resolve the other issues in Wright County. So FEMA is proceeding with requests for all the communities in the county to update their floodplain ordinances to incorporate the new mapping. And one of the advantages of the new mapping is that it's actually digitized. So the old maps were just paper maps, so everybody had to kind of interpret them, and which were based on some old aerial photography. And sometimes that worked, but 20-year-old aerial photography isn't always helpful, or 30 or whatever it may be. So the digitized map form is going to be a lot of help, particularly in those areas where there's a lot of development and a lot of floodplain impact. Montrose is not one of those places. There are four firm, which is flood insurance rate map, 4 map panels that apply to the Montrose community, and those are identified in the proposed ordinance that you have in front of you tonight. But only one of them actually covers any piece of the existing that has floodplain, active floodplain on it, covers any piece of existing Montrose territory. And that is about a 10-acre piece, which is suitably all wetland, owned by the city and as part of the city's wastewater treatment facility in the very southeast corner of the community. The remainder of all 4 of those panels have floodplain on them, but none of them are impacting the city right now. Nonetheless, we adopt them because as the city grows, we may grow into those areas and deal with floodplain management issues in those areas. The biggest impact for adopting these, the reason to do this is that it's based on this that property owners qualify for the National Flood Insurance opportunities. So property owners that are impacted by floodplain can buy flood insurance through the national program as a result of these maps if the ordinances are properly adopted in their jurisdiction. So tonight, staff is asking you to recommend adoption of that ordinance. It's pretty small amendment to your existing floodplain overlay language relating to the new mapping and the new firm panels, again, the flood insurance rate map panels that apply to Montrose. The effective date will be June 20th of this year. That's the date that FEMA has identified as the kind of the final date for adoption in Wright County of the updates here. And every community in the county is dealing with this right now to get their ordinances in place. Some communities are having to do full changes to their entire ordinance because they have very old floodplain language on the books. Montrose's is not really that old, and because we have such a small area that is affected by any active floodway or flood zone, that we are not right now amending any other part of our floodplain overlay district. As time goes on, I wouldn't doubt that the DNR, the state DNR, who has the jurisdiction to apply these rules, ask us to do that to our larger floodplain ordinance, but right now it is not. It's not necessary. So with that, Mr. Chair, Commission asking Planning Commission to consider a recommendation of the ordinance that you have in front of you, and I would be happy to answer any questions I can.
Any questions?
No question.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any questions from the audience? Okay. With that, we'll look for a motion to close the public hearing and open the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting again.
Move to close the public meeting, reopen the
Second?
planning and zoning.
I'll second that.
commission meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's 7:08. I'll close the public hearing and reopen the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. And we'd be looking for, unless there's any further discussion, look for a recommendation to adopt the new resolution.
I move that we adopt the resolution, forward it to.
It'd be the ordinance and the resolution for council.
Ordinance and resolution, I'm sorry. Okay. We have a second?
Yeah, so I'll second.
There
Sorry, I
you
didn't
go.
hear the whole thing.
Okay, Mr. Frellman?
Yeah. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 3-0. I guess no old business, no new business, anything from staff or liaison?
Mr. Chair, just, I'm sorry, just let you know that the SJB Masonry project is proceeding, and they're anxious to get going. They've got some things to tie up, a couple loose ends with their plans, but so that project is proceeding. Council took Planning Commission's recommendation for approval and adopted approval of that conditional use permit, or those 2 conditional use permits technically.
When will that start and how long will the construction go, do you think?
I know he wants to start as soon as possible. He's working on closing on the property as well as just some finalizing with their plans and different things. I believe it will start in the next couple months.
Okay.
And I don't know how long it's going to take to finish up.
I wouldn't doubt that it goes at least through the construction
Fall.
season this year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but he's very excited and anxious to get his project going.
Yeah.
So,
Fantastic.
Nice.
Okay, thank you.
Good news.
Okay. If there's no other business, I'll adjourn at 7:10. Our next meeting is Wednesday, May 8th at 7 PM here at the community center.
And motions to adjourn. Motion.
What's that?
Is there a motion to adjourn? Was there a first or a
Move
second?
to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourn the meeting at 7:11.
An auspicious time.
First meeting I ever came